Welcome to Wrinkle Society of Hope. If this is your first time, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for continuing to support Wrinkles. Today, you are going to hear an amazing story from one of our Wrinkles women. And if you would like, please hit subscribe and share our Wrinkles channel. Hit that notification bell so you can hear about the new stories that come forward. And we are also on Apple Podcasts and we are on Spotify. So you can listen in if you're unable to view the YouTube channel. I'm so happy you're here and I hope I get an interview with you. All right, I am here with the most amazing woman. Ooh, we've been knowing each other
over 20-something years.
Yes, for a long time. My friend, my doctor, amazing woman. So introduce yourself to the Wrinkles family.
I'm Dr. Grace A. Haynes, Andrea Haynes, and what else you want?
Just amazing doctor. And how long you been a doctor?
I have been a doctor for 28 years in the Arizona area, and I'm presently working at Village Medical on Pecos in Val Vista. This is hopefully my last job before retiring. And I'm also an artist, and I don't know what else.
Well, that's fine. Well, listen. First of all, you look amazing. Beauty. Every time I see you, your face just looks the same. So, I don't know. You might got one wrinkle somewhere there. So, how did you feel when you got your first physical change?
My first physical change, really, I haven't had too many wrinkles.
Yes,
which is a good thing. And I think that is actually due to decreasing stress out of your life. Mm-hmm. And I'm the type that I can't put products on my face. I just use soap and water.
Oh, you really lucky then.
Because if I use certain products, I break out. But I never had any problems with my skin. So that has always been a blessing.
That is such a blessing. All of us ain't able. Because I moisturize and everything all the time. Well, through life, we have other stuff that comes up, though. We have emotional wrinkles. Mm-hmm. Can you tell a story about emotional wrinkle you had to press through?
I think the very first emotional wrinkle that I had to press through was when my father passed away. And at that time I was 17. I'm the oldest in my family. And I would have to stay home with him. He got diagnosed with leukemia. Mm-hmm. And he was my hero because he was an OB-GYN, so he was a doctor also. And our dream was I was going to practice with him. But that dream did not come true because once he was diagnosed in February of 1996 and he passed away in February 1997. So that was the year I graduated from high school. And that was a challenge to actually see him suffer and go through his painful times. And a lot of times I would sit there with him and he would be in pain. And at that time, I knew the Lord, but I wished I would have known him like I know him now because, I think I would have been praying for him a little bit more. But God knows the time and the hour. But he taught me a lot. And I know the biggest thing he taught me was he knew that I was going to be a doctor. And he always used to tell me, and most of my patients have heard this story, but he always used to say, treat everyone the way you would like to be treated. Mm-hmm. And, if it's the elderly, how would you treat your grandmother? If it's kids, how would you treat your children? And the other thing he taught me is always to listen because there's no book that's going to tell you about the patient, but the patient's going to tell you what's really wrong. So you have to be kind of like a detective and to hone in and have discernment to listen to your patients and really hear what they say and not what's said, their actions and how their spirit is feeling. Because, people can walk into the office and they can say so many things, but underneath all that, you have to ask the right questions to get the right answers that you need. So that's one of the main wrinkles in my life that changed me a lot. So, but it also gave me the strength because, on the other hand, my mother is still surviving. She is a registered nurse. She's retired now, but with her tenacity and her ability to keep our house in San Francisco and to take care of 3 children who are all successful on her own, working 3 jobs, it only made me more resilient. No matter what I go through, I know that I can come out on the other end. And I know I'm not doing it by myself because God is my source. So I know that I have somebody with me all the time. So the struggle is real, but there's always blessings on the other side.
That is amazing. And I have to remember back to, I live way on the other side of town now. But when I came to see you you were my doctor when I lived over here. And there was many times, you might remember, I come in and I'm just coming in for something routine medically, but I left blessed physically, psychologically, because you always dug. You didn't have to dig deep, but it's the way your care was, the care of love that you gave me. I was always in tears by the end of every appointment.
Tears and praying.
Yes, and you pray, and I always knew that I can be myself and actually tell you how I felt because of the doctor. So kudos to you for blessing your patients so much, because you blessed my life for sure, you did. What would you tell yourself back in that moments when you had lost your father, the person that you thought you were going to be working with? What would you tell yourself now looking back?
Well, looking back, and with, as time goes on, you have more wisdom. But looking back, I would tell myself that I know that we have to go through trials and tribulations, but it's going to be okay. Because a lot of times you don't know if you're going to be okay. Because you go to school, you go to college, you go to all these different things, and you experience a lot, and you never think you're going to get through it, but you do. You know what I'm saying? You do get through it. And that's the blessing. You may go up, down, but as long as you keep one foot in front of the other and you keep walking, and as Jesus says, to walk by faith and not by sight, if you keep putting that one foot forward, he's got his hand right there pulling you through. So you have to think of it like that. So.
Awesome. Now as you pull forward through things, let's say you got a t-shirt made. What would that t-shirt say about the woman, the doctor that you are today?
I just say resilient.
Yes.
You just have to push forward. And yes, there's a lot more wrinkles I could talk about, but but yes, resilience is just getting back up and just pushing forward. That's the biggest thing. Yeah.
So true. Now the wrinkles that you pressed through has pressed you right on to the canvas, and you have beautiful art. Can you talk more about your ministry in art?
Okay. Well, basically it started when I was pregnant in residency and I was going through preterm labor. And I had finished up and was working at the urgent care, but then I couldn't work. I had to stay home, and they had to put me on tuberculine to prevent me from having my baby too early. So I just started, I always doodled a lot, so I just started trying to paint because there was nothing on TV back then. Well, we didn't have all the channels we have now and Netflix and everything, so I just started painting and doing things. But I found that painting was a source of ministry and also a source of prayer. Because once you start painting, it's like you lose, everything else doesn't matter. You're just in the moment. And I started painting, and you remember when I had my office, I owned my office. And I had went on a mission trip to Liberia, actually, and there was a pastor, Chin. He asked us, what would we build there if we had opportunities? So I woke up in the middle of the night and I drew this clinic and a ping is kind of like a mechanic store and a nursing and an education thing. So when I woke up, I was like, Lord, well, how would I fund this, right? And he was like, use your art. So 50% of the proceeds are supposed to go. I have a nonprofit called Grace's Song, and I haven't been making a lot of money right now, but but whatever I do make, it goes to charities like the children in Africa. Under my girlfriend, she has a nonprofit, and I give money there, and then we, going on mission trips, I use it for that, and it helps. And so when I got back home, I looked in my room, my art room, and I said, well, what do I do with this art? And he said, first, he told me to give it away. So that's when I started a art gallery at my office. So I would put the art in front of the door, so when the patient would come out, they would see the art. So if they come out and they say, oh, that's so beautiful, I would ask them, will it bring you joy and peace? And they say yes, and I say, take it. So then they would take it, right?
Wow.
And God is awesome, because I've had opportunities to go to classrooms and teach. One of the teachers, Carol, she had her third grade children send me a big old heart and a love and send me off to Africa. And so I had Mondays and Thursdays off, so I came to her class and did a little Valentine's Day. And we all made hearts and everything like that, and I just loved on the children, so it gave me great joy. And then I also worked with my cancer patients, the ones that were like stage 4 and they couldn't get to the office, so I would go and do little visits and we would do art there. And it always kind of like quiets the soul, and some of them would have brain tumors or something and they just couldn't articulate or talk, and that would make them tired, but we could do art for like 3 hours and they would be rejuvenated and happy, and just, you could just see the joy in their lives and stuff. So I do have a heart for patients that have cancer, because we just talked about my father dying of leukemia, so I've always had a heart with cancer. And I think in 2020, I was working at Bird Medical, and stores were closed and everything like that. So I did some ink pours, and I created little captions and put them in frames. And I created a store at the office so the patients and the staff could buy gifts for their families. And I didn't really charge a lot, because that was a hard time for everybody. So I made crosses, we did all kinds of stuff, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And then I created a painting with all the staff's handprints. So, and it was a big heart, and I would show it to the patients, and it was like, your hands are in our hearts.
Oh, wow.
So we, and I'm also working with what's fun is I'm working with the University of Arizona Medical School in the Art and Health Department and the Narrative Medicine Department, and It's been fun. I was one of the first physicians to have a showing on the 5th floor in the medical building. And I also work with Lisa Alvin Smith and Dr. Elizabeth Lakin, and they're in Oregon. So we teach courses and share our art and do a lot of different things. So
That's great.
yes.
So how can someone either buy art or even just donate to your nonprofit?
Well, I will give you. You can go online. I do have we're getting our presence in. So you can go online for my what is it? What is it called? I'm trying to think. It's Dr. What is it? Art by Dr. Spell it DOCTOR. Grace.com, and that's my website.
Okay.
And you can go there and you can plug in your name and everything. You can see a little bit of art. I'm working with my lady to add more art to it. And art by Dr. Grace. I'm on Facebook, and you can check me out that way. And then I will give you a card and I'll show you everything on that too. So
Awesome. Well, all those links will be posted here, and we want to help. I mean, this is amazing that you help people with art. And how do you feel that art can just help people in general?
Well, I think, as we get older, we stop playing. You know what I'm saying? And we need to play, and we need to use our hands. We need to, all our senses. We need to smell stuff. We need to feel things. We need to, even playing with clay or going outside and smelling the air or taking pictures of beauty. We just need to get back to the basics. And I think we're so stressed out all the time that we forget. It's just the little things, just sitting down and letting the breeze go through, or just turning on a waterfall. You know what I'm saying? Just listening. We're not using those senses anymore. We're either on the computer or looking at. I mean, all our jobs have gone to the computer, and
Yes.
I mean, your eyes are getting tired. Have to change our glasses every year.
Every year.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
art is a healer, and it's not. I do mixed media, but I mean, we're talking about writing. I just went with the narrative medicine group to the Japanese garden. I didn't even know we had a Japanese garden in the middle of Phoenix. Oh my God, it was so beautiful just to sit in the water, and it's just so clean. And we actually wrote a little poem, a collective poem, and all the students wrote stuff, and it was just amazing. Just that little time, just 2 hours, and it made a difference. And I woke up and I didn't even want to go, but I was like, I have to get up and get out of this house.
Yeah.
And it just changed my life for that day.
I think that's amazing how you said we don't use our senses like we used to when we were a child.
When we were a child, my mother used to tell us, get off that ignorant box and go outside and play, right? So she's like, either play, read, go do chess, checkers. I mean, we had to do all that kind of stuff. And we used our hand and eye coordination.
Yeah.
I mean, we had chemistry sets. We had, a telescope. We used to look at the stars at night. Who does that anymore?
Nobody. Not too many people do that.
And I think and that's why there's a whole new thing about mindfulness and stuff. We used to do that as kids. And now it's a whole sector of that. So, we have to do that just to prevent disease.
Yeah.
I mean, because we stress and we don't sleep and we get irritated and go through different changes. It's not healthy at all.
No. I think I so agree with the fact that you said your face earlier. You said I don't have stress, and you could tell. You find a way to relieve that stress. You find something to relax you. And if some people would do that, have something, that is using all those senses, and maybe we could have less wrinkles too.
And also, play, because when we were little, if somebody said our stuff was ugly, then we stopped doing it. I used to play, my mother got us piano lessons. My brother is 11 months younger than me, and he is talented when it comes to music. It would take him like 15 minutes to learn a song. It would take me like 2 weeks to learn a song. And I just said, I'm not doing that. But then I was good, we did fashion shows and all that kind of stuff I was good at, right? But I couldn't do the music. And I'll give you a funny story. 4 years ago, my mom had to get a 5-vessel bypass. And she wanted all her kids there. So it's 3 of us, my brother, my sister, and I. And so my sister was in with my mom, and she was like, well, what are the other 2 birds, she calls us birds, doing? And my sister said, well, Grace is on the floor doing a watercolor, and your brother and Mark is playing Jose Feliciano on the guitar. So we were in the... So that was what was calming us down, because he was like, my brother came in there and he was looking all stressed. I was like, you got your guitar? I said, go get it so we can play. You play and I'll do art.
I love it. I love it.
I mean, so that helped. That helps tremendously. It calmed us both down, and we were all good. And it was awesome, because my mom was 80 years old. They finished her surgery in 2.5 hours, and she was off the vent an hour earlier than she was supposed to and up walking.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's probably just going through life having stress-free coping mechanisms. You live longer when you just live.
Yes, and we got to live for the now.
Yes.
And stop worrying about the future, and please put away the past.
Yes, say that again. For sure. Because I think a lot of us keep looking back in the past and we can't move forward. So many of us.
And forgive.
Forgive
quickly.
Yes.
Forgive quickly.
Yes.
Because, everybody can have a bad day and we can be offended, but offense doesn't get us anywhere.
So true. So true.
Forgive, love, and keep moving forward.
Yes, indeed. The doctor has wrote the prescription for today. Do you have anything else to add?
Oh, I think that's enough.
Thank you so much for coming to the Wrinkles family today.
You're welcome.
And we definitely want to support, so we'll be going to those websites that everyone sees right now, and we will provide all the support and continue on. And I got to show these arts to everyone else, so thank you so much.
This is the collection of the women, the strong women, and look, she has all her disciples underneath her, so that you can put yourself underneath that. But she's at peace, and she's radiating with a golden glow. And we have the dove over here that represents the Holy Spirit, and that's her to me.
Abstracts. These are beautiful. What do you like to do the most?
Mixed media. It's just thread. And this was right before I went to Senegal. And I have an angel over the city. And in Senegal, most of the people are Muslim. And I actually drew this before I even went there. And one of the taxi drivers that we were with, he wore an outfit just like this. We were there.
Wow.
And then this is a collection. It's kind of like faceless people, but it just represents everybody. And so this kind of dictates our family tree.
Yep.
So yeah.
Genogram.
And this is winter. Winter. And And then I've been doing an art collection. So these are little art pieces, and they say love, peace. And I went to Spain, got COVID, and I had to stay 2 weeks. So these little hearts that are in the middle, I met an artist there, and she's a ceramic artist, and I used her little hearts in it. So it's called the warrior healer.
Oh wow, that is breathtaking.
So I did it on glass.
Oh wow. And people can purchase these, right?
Yeah. And then this one right here is called sisterhood.
Okay, people, you gotta come purchase. Look at this art here. I can't even. This camera's doing it no justice. Just to let you know, I'm doing the best I can, but you guys need to. We can go to the website and purchase this beautiful art.